Hello, there is a Friday edition of the show, and this Friday we are going to be talking about a very big fight that is happening in the next 24 hours. It's all about the IBF heavyweight title fight between Anthony Joshua and the man Daniel Dubois. We are talking about a man who is on a redemption path. That's Anthony Joshua. He has an opportunity to reclaim a world title belt that he lost in one fight against Alexander Usyk. And today we are going to be connected with somebody who really knows about these things very well, the intricacies of boxing, professional fights, the dynamics of it all. And we're talking about Prince Stanley Williams, a British-born Nigerian boxing promoter, an expert. He is joining us to give us the analysis, a breakdown of what might happen as far as that fight is concerned. Prince Stanley Williams, it's really good to have you join us again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, let's start. I want to start by asking you, how do you see that fight? What are you expecting there?
Yeah, the stakes are high for this fight. They're high stakes, and it's a big step up for Dubois. Who's a young lion who's standing in the way of Anthony Joshua right now. He's proven himself. He's only lost to people like Usyk, who is the reigning champion, and also he's lost to I think Joe Joyce. So I feel this is a fight that defines who is in charge of British heavyweight boxing right now. And of course we still have Tyson Fury in the loop, but right now we're looking at the two faces who have never been matched up against each other. So it's an unexpected matchup by the Riyadh season, and it's a good thing that they're bringing it to England. We're going to be expecting to see a whole lot of celebrities from all walks of life. You see the movie stars, you see the boxing greats, you see the football greats as well. Recently, we've been seeing people like Ronaldo and Neymar, to say the least. So this fight is going to be a big one, it's a blockbuster, and we should all be, looking up to that challenge. It's a fight that's going to be explosive, two heavyweights, two heavy punches. Stylistically, I think this falls in line for Anthony Joshua. As long as he's at his peak, he performs at his peak. I don't see this fight going the distance. And if it does go the distance, it could be a late stoppage, or it could also be in a decision in favor of Anthony Joshua. And this is what we expect to see.
Okay, Prince, I see that fight as a redemption opportunity for Anthony Joshua. Most people think that way. But Joshua has come out to say that he is no a redemption. It's not going to be a redemption for him. He is just going to be doing his thing. What do you say about that kind of reaction from Anthony Joshua?
Yes, yes. Well, some may call it that. They might say it's a redemption opportunity, but I beg to differ because Anthony Joshua has been competing at a very high level, and we've forgotten that he's the heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed for a while, before he lost his belt to Usyk. Now, Usyk and Dubois has fought before, and he lost to Dubois lost to Usyk. He gave Usyk a very good fight. AJ, they say styles make fights. I always say that to you. In this fight is very different because Anthony Joshua has what it takes to stop Dubois. Dubois' chances, because he's a heavy puncher, is all aligned in the first to 6 rounds. So I see Anthony Joshua, kind of dominating that fight. He has a new trainer now, a new team, and they say the old AJ is back. I know people like Dubois must have looked up to Anthony Joshua. They've studied him for years, but stylistically, I think he matches Anthony Joshua. If Joshua comes out the same way blazing like he's done in his last two performances, he's going to give Dubois all the problems. And Usyk is not a very heavy puncher, and yet he was able to stop Dubois. So you can imagine what Anthony Joshua will do. At the moment, he's in very high spirits. Anthony Joshua is he's looking unstoppable at the moment. So I would expect that he dominates this fight. And I can understand why some people will say it's a redemption fight. I don't see this as a redemption fight. I see this as an opportunity to prove that he belongs to the top and is the head of the top. Tyson Fury has been questioned lately. So all roads now is leading again back to Anthony Joshua because Usyk, yes, is the He's a champion. He has all the belts, most of the belts, I would say. I think recently he gave up the IBF or something. But I see this fight as a defining fight because it will help Anthony Joshua reclaim his spot as one of the pound for pound greats again.
Now, Dubois has won most of his fights by knockout. As a matter of fact, 95% of his fights, he's won them all by knockout. Is that not going to be something that Anthony Joshua should worry about?
Well, yes, you can say that Dubois has a very high knockout ratio. He's been stopping people. But when he meets people who have got a very good stance in boxing, who move around very well, we know AJ is not the best move around fighter, but he's overall, he's doing well. He can do well. He can move around a little bit. He can punch hard. He has angles. These angles and uppercuts are what defines this fight. He's got very good uppercuts, very good angles, and his jab has gotten even much more better. And I see Dubois doing not too well with people with very good jabs. We saw his fight with Hedjovic, and we saw where Hedjovic had a shortcoming. But in this particular fight, he's fighting an Olympian who has been through everything, who has fought all styles. The only style that has given him problem is that of Usyk so far. And Usyk is somebody that no one has yet come to defeat. You know, he's been beating up everybody. He's just won Tyson Fury. He has a rematch with Tyson Fury again in December. So all eyes are on Anthony Joshua at the moment, and I think he'll rise up to the occasion. It will be very difficult for Dubois to knock him out because he knows Dubois has a punching power, and I think Dubois is orthodox. Anthony Joshua has issues a little bit with people that are southpaw, and I don't see an orthodox fighter that will give him that much of a problem. If you see the Usyk fight, I think Usyk was switching from style to style. He comes in and he goes out. When he's inside, he moves his head too much. And again, he's a bit shorter, so it makes it very awkward and for Anthony Joshua to follow up. But with this kind of fight now, and the new team he's got, Dubois is a straight puncher. He's a heavy hitter. He's young. He's got the energy, but his punching power is not greater than that of Anthony Joshua. And I think he will find that out in this fight. Your promoters can boost you and say all they can say, but at the end of the day, when you get into that square circle, the square ring, it's between you and your opponent. And on Saturday, we'll find out who is actually the king.
And finally, who do you give it to? Joshua or Dubois?
Good, like I said before, very, very good matchup. And my prediction, this one is quite a simple prediction for me. In my own opinion, I feel with the styles that we've seen from Anthony Joshua, the style we have seen Dubois imploring in his last fight, I don't see that style working effectively for Anthony Joshua. With the new team he's surrounded himself with, the same people from Watford, the same people that have handled Tyson Fury before in the past. He's a young trainer, and he's doing a very good job. In fact, I was actually thinking in my mind that why he has not linked up with AJ in a long time. This guy will bring out the best in AJ, this particular trainer. They both understand each other. I think they were made for each other. I see the result going is all in favor of Anthony Joshua because Dubois' style fits Anthony Joshua's style. The only person that can let Anthony Joshua down is Anthony Joshua if he does not employ the right fighting style for this fight. With Dubois having problem with very good jabbers, fast jabs, he also cannot take inside fighting very well because if you see the fight with Usyk, funny enough, engaged him in a lot of inside fighting. So I think Dubois is not good with his short punches. He likes his hooks. So, and I feel Anthony Joshua is not a fighter he's going to be landing hooks on easily, except Anthony Joshua gets too cocky and stays in front of him all the time. So I believe that with the style that Anthony Joshua possesses right now, I don't think the fight is going to go the distance. And if it does go the distance, it would be like an all-out shootout. It's a shootout war between both heavyweights. And Dubois being a very heavy-handed person, and Joshua is a much more heavy-handed person than Dubois. And I don't think Dubois has faced this exact same style. Of course, they've sparred. We've heard stories of their sparring session and all that. But remember, what happens in sparring is not what happens under the lights. When you see all the stars, everybody aligned, you have to give your best. So I feel I believe Anthony Joshua is going to win the fight. Either he stops the Dubois or he wins it by unanimous decision.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But before I let you go, what does it take to bring this kind of fight to Nigeria? Monarch Events and Promotion, which you are part of, as a matter of fact, the chairman, CEO, can this kind of big fight, Anthony Joshua is in Nigeria, of course we know, can this kind of fight be held in Nigeria?
Yes, if events like this can be held in Nigeria, like the Riyadh season is doing, I believe it's something that's very possible, and we are actually open to talks with the government if they are willing, and I believe this will bring in a lot of tourism, and that brings me to speak about Bash Ali. Bash Ali the Great. Yes, he's older, but he's still active, and I believe a Guinness Book of World Record fight is something Nigeria needs right now. We can assemble a lot of great fights on the cards, and show Nigeria to the world in a very positive light. And this will be very, very good for the present administration as well. It sheds a whole lot of light in our tourism, and it's something that could invite a whole lot of stars. And if we have good matchups, it's going to be an expensive fest, but it would be worthwhile because we've not had anything that can pull strings together as much as this. And me personally, I think it's something that must happen. If it happens in Nigeria, let's say end of the year or sometime early next year, that's the Guinness Book of World Record fight. Having Bash Ali on it, that would be something. It will be superb. It will be extraordinary, and it will be something that will push our image in the right, lining with the whole world, and the international community will not be expecting something like that. So Dubois and to the Joshua kind of fight are fights that we can actually lobby for and bring them to Nigeria as well. I mean, something similar to that in the future. But when you have Bashali event, you can have a great fighter also fight on the card. Like there are so many great fighters that can fight on the card. But what makes Bashali's one very different is because it's something that has never been done before. And let it happen in Nigeria. If it holds in Nigeria, it shapes our sports. It puts our name on the map. It also makes here somewhere that will be likable and brings in new investment, like foreign direct investments. And I think it's something the government has to look into.
All right, thank you very much, I have to say. And we do know that those in authority will be listening and be hoping that they would take something out of this and try to see how very big fights, especially that which involve Bash Ali, that many people have been hearing for ages and have not been able to see. Maybe it will happen, and then, of course, it will bring some really good publicity, good mileage to Nigeria as a nation, that positive things can happen. All right, thank you very much, Prince Stanley Williams, for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ed.
All right, that was it. And yes, the man who has been talking about boxing, who knows boxing so very well as an expert, a promoter. He spoke with us on that big fight between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois. That will be happening at Wembley in London. That will be tomorrow, let's say next 24 hours from now. We would be getting ready for that fight, and we do know that Nigerians will be rooting for Anthony Joshua. AJ should be going back to get that title, that belt, and of course it will be something that will worth a lot of celebration. And this is where we end it as far as Sports Extra for this weekend. For this day is concerned, the week's package effectively done and dusted, and we look forward to having you join us on Monday when we return with another package on Sports Extra. On behalf of the production team, my name is Edet Bassi. Do have yourself a splendid weekend, and bye for now.